Now we roll into our co-main event. Coming off a win at our last event where he went undefeated. Here with us by way of San Angelo, Texas, with a willingness to take the fight anywhere it goes. Robert, the Rush, Fowler. This man is a multi-time national champion with notable wins over Matt Mask and Tony Tomlinson. He's overcome a multitude of challenges on his way to the table. Coming to us from Colorado, Chris, the Juggernaut, Kaufman.
You gotta love that Kaufman comes out with the Juggernaut sweatshirt on.
It's the best.
I didn't know Kaufman was a jack dude. Like he's still in great shape.
Yeah.
Like, he ain't playing games.
Is he 60?
What?
How old is he?
I don't know. He's been around a long time.
No, I heard someone say he's like 60.
That's impossible.
That's what I said.
He'd have to be dunked in the nectar of life.
He might be.
He might be. Okay.
You don't know.
Well, I will say he comes with a whole lot of experience.
He's getting trained by Corey Miller.
He's getting trained by Corey Miller.
Just
He has
for this
wins
match.
on Robert Fowler's dad.
History runs
Yeah.
deep.
You know that Robert's here to get that back.
I talked to Robert. You know, I coach with him all the time, and I really want Robert to keep this in the straps.
Look at him right now, the intensity.
Look at this.
Go.
Yep.
Okay, so the fight got a little more interesting than we all thought it might go right there.
So Chris did exactly what you thought. He was trying to keep it outside the straps. Because Chris's power, his superpower,
Is his hand.
is his hand. And in the hand, very often,
Robert's hand looked great just now.
it didn't look bad, but you saw Chris fighting for it.
Yeah.
Chris said, come here.
Come here. Yeah. He wasn't willing to let him go.
But it's fine. Robert said, we're in my game. I'm not worried. I'm going outside. Either you're going to hold on to me. I'm not going to hold on to you.
Yeah.
And I think we're going to see something in the strap that tells the story.
Well, you got to know that Corey has worked a ton with Christopher and what to do in the strap. Not that he doesn't know with all the experience he has, but you know he's been working on what the new game's like since Chris has been back.
The new game.
Yep. And it is a new game.
Yeah.
Robert's an old school guy too, though, right? He's been trained with his dad for years as a kid.
Yeah. Well,
And he's been everywhere.
Chris comes from an era of arm wrestling where everyone held on.
Everyone held on.
Everyone
Yep.
just fought with their hands and wrists. They called it wrist wrestling.
Yeah.
You know,
Different game.
It's a different game. We're gonna see a lot right now.
You can look at the concentration on.
Oh no! The power gap. Stay tight. He needs to stay tight.
Okay, Robert got overly confident. He was where he wanted to be.
Fine.
Yep.
This is fine.
Yeah.
I think Robert comes back and flashes Chris.
Whoa.
Absolutely. If he doesn't just
So
try
you
to
think
hold
that
him.
Robert tried to just hold him?
Yes. And tell me, how much harder is it to hold than it is to surge?
Oh my God, I do it all day with my guys. It's way harder. Yeah.
If you're just holding, you're getting beat. The other guy is using all
But you
the
got to
force.
know that Chris has the experience to know where he was at disadvantageous there.
Yes.
And he said,
Yeah.
you know what, I'm going to run
But
through
now-
it. I'm
but-
the juggernaut, bitch.
He said he's the juggernaut.
He said, I'll
But
run through it.
Robert knows. Okay, hey, in the
He
straps-
buried his head and went forward.
Yeah. And I think he took it all.
Yeah.
I think where that lane went, where the lane was immediately,
Yeah.
was not where Chris wanted to be.
Yeah,
Chris
yeah.
said, oh, no.
And you think right now Robert is like, it's a wrap.
I hope so. I hope he's not in his head.
Yeah.
I hope he knows he did everything right.
Yeah.
He needs to not get overconfident, though.
So if you were in his corner right now, what would you say to him?
I would say, well, first I would reset us. I said, hey, you need to slip again. Reset your mind. You need to
We need to get
slip.
back to that.
You need to get back to where you just were, and you need to do everything the same way. Except you don't hold. You get that high hook,
What
and
if
you
Robert
go to
outside of the strap just goes for the hook?
it's hard to hook Chris.
Yeah, clearly.
Watch some footage. Chris hand, he doesn't pronate through his wrist. He pronates through his hand in such a way that makes it you can't turn him in right away. Or it's really hard to do. Now Robert might have what it takes. But again,
I mean, could this be the best Robert we've ever seen?
He told me today that he wishes that this was the version of him that got to arm wrestle all his previous super matches. He said
Today's the day.
Yeah, he feels insane. And you know, a little bit of home turf advantage, right? He only traveled 3.5 hours as opposed to
flying.
You know, but again, it's only a puddle jump from Denver to Texas.
Sure.
It's the same. It's like 2 or 3 hours.
Yeah, and he's super. He didn't have to cut any weight. He's just here to bang.
Yes.
Close your hand. Don't
There we
move.
go.
Right. There's the high hand. There's the high hand from Chris.
Oh, there it is. That's good.
They're willing to fight. They're willing to get inside and fight.
Winner.
I think what happened there is Robert initially went for a bail, or like went outside,
That's 2
and
wins
Chris
for Chris
turned it in.
Kaufman.
Turned it in. Yeah.
And it was not what Robert expected.
No. So what? If I'm Robert, I'm just going to commit to that inside
Can I
pull.
tell you something though?
You've been telling me all day. Go ahead.
Robert's left, like if they're this close on their left, because I think that was close. I think
Yeah,
that was
it's
really
close.
close.
Yeah.
Robert's left is his weak arm, by a lot.
There's no favoritism from you at all, right?
No. no. I just know more about Robert.
Oh no, you do.
I just know
you do.
more about Robert.
Dude, and Chris
don't
is
know.
really an enigma for us right now, as far as
He is.
we're newer school guys.
Yes, yep,
He
yep.
hasn't been around.
No, he hasn't.
I
and
mean,
his
the
last
dude
couple-
has climbed
yeah.
mountains, fought cancer, went
cancer.
through a whole lot with
Took
his family.
6 years off to start a family.
Yeah, yeah.
And came back to the sport, and look at him. He looks in form. He looks
He
in
looks
form.
in form.
He looks
Yeah,
good.
yeah.
He looks like the juggernaut.
I mean, he looks like a lot of. It's like Eddie Hall.
Yeah.
It's
yeah.
a smaller Eddie
Yeah,
Hall.
and he says what he's working on
All right,
right now
gentlemen.
is he said he's close to
Back to the
90%
table,
of
please.
his previous self.
Yeah, and
He's
this guy's
working
been
on-
to Arm Wars.
He's been to
Went in
everything.
there
Yeah.
and smashed.
He has wins on Matt Mask.
Yeah.
So
I mean, he's real business.
yeah, it's the
Real
deal.
business.
So this is actually, you know,
It's a proving ground for
Robert-
Fowler.
For Fowler, yeah, for
big
Robert.
time. Big time.
And I think he's
It's
excited.
definitely.
Look how excited Chris
hands
is.
open?
Yeah,
He,
yeah.
I feel like he's like a kid. He's like, oh, I missed this.
Elbow
Yeah.
back.
He's like, it's been so long. I haven't gotten to do this
Elbow
in
back
so
more.
long.
Come down, Robert. Right there. That's perfect. Don't move.
Yeah, he does look that way.
Shoulder here. A lot more shoulder. More.
There's nothing
Shoulder.
in
Yep,
my. There's
don't
nothing
move.
better
Shoulder
than an
looks
arm
good, don't
wrestler
move.
or just any
Close your
athlete who
thumbs.
looks like they're having
Close your
fun.
hand.
Yeah. I
Close your
agree.
hand. Don't move. Go. Stop. Elbow here. I got an elbow on this side.
Nice.
No
Right?
call.
Coincidental fouls, meaning
Look.
both guys fouled. No harm, no foul. We'll keep it on 0. It's offset.
Right.
All right. See
But you
again?
know what I
Right?
think
No
happened?
fouls.
I
No
think-
fouls.
Shoulder.
I
0,
think Chris
0.
was holding on to
Way,
Robert,
way
and I
more
think
shoulder.
Robert
More.
lifted Chris's elbow.
Yeah. Elbow back.
Yeah, I mean, with that crazy.
Yeah,
Come
that,
down,
yeah,
Robert.
yeah. And he's and Chris, and
There,
Robert's
that's it.
good at
Don't
that.
move.
And I think
Shoulder
Chris was
looks
trying to
good.
contain
Close
it.
your thumbs.
Chris is trying to weaponize his
Don't
hand.
move.
Yeah.
Go.
There you go.
Tracks.
And now they go to the straps again. And this is where Robert was round 1 in a dominant position.
Yo,
Let's
when I
see.
went through the hallway, by the way,
Yeah.
JS, who's coaching Chris right now
Okay.
from CC Arms, you
'Kay.
can see him back there.
Yep.
He said, I want Isaiah right-handed.
Wow.
Yeah.
This is where.
The game is so good.
Yeah.
It's so good.
It's when you're back. You're
This
in
is
a-
a family. This is teams.
Yeah.
I mean, it's why you have all these different areas of Texas. We're even bothering to mention where guys are from.
Well, the thing
because
about
every
Texas,
area-
it's basically multiple states
Yes.
in other places.
Especially in
People
this
are like,
game.
oh, you just have a bunch of Texas guys pulling Texas. I'm like, do you not realize these two guys live 800 miles apart?
Yeah. People drive 7 hours.
Yeah.
Wedding.
This is not like
Open your hands, please.
some guy pulling another guy in his backyard.
Yeah.
This is a guy from El Paso or from Corpus Christi driving 6 hours
Yeah.
to go pull somebody else.
Crazy.
Which would be
elbow
the
back
equivalent
right
of
there.
driving across like
That's center. Don't
Massachusetts,
move.
Sure.
New York,
Yeah.
New Jersey,
Yeah.
you
All
know,
those guys. It's the
Pennsylvania.
same drive around here.
Yeah,
guys.
exactly.
Shoulder looks
We
good.
drive
Don't
further.
move.
Yeah, they're like, oh, I drove 4 states to get here. I'm like, I drove across
Don't move.
Texas. It's the same thing.
Yeah. Yes.
Except there's
100%.
nothing to see. There it is. He's gonna take it. Oh,
Wow. So I love to say that was some ugly ass arm wrestling, but man, it was beautiful.
It was
beautiful.
perfect.
No, it was. It's
It was
beautiful.
perfect.
It is a full commitment to pulling that hand way high up and all the way around.
How would you feel, Dustin, if someone said, "Hey, this guy's weapon is his hand," and then you just top rolled him?
Oh my God!
You'd say he doesn't have a weapon.
It looked like a crazy high hook turned into a pronating top roll. It was like up and under.
Yeah.
and around.
Well, so he went up and he corkscrewed up
And then
got the high hand
follows
and
through.
then rolled through it. And that's a dangerous move. And
It's
if
dangerous.
Chris was trying to hook him by any chance, that is how he lost.
Yeah.
Both of these guys getting their arms rubbed out. What's happening is the blood just fills up in your arm. You're holding your arm in a static, heavy loaded position for, 30, 40 seconds at a time, a whole minute, and your arm just fills with blood. And
Fills with blood.
And you got to be able to
Yeah, a
still
lot of guys-
you got to close your hand.
We refer to it as your arm is blowing up,
Yeah,
or your
blowing up.
hand gets blown out.
Right, and it gets so bad to where you can't even close your hand. You can't close your hand. Imagine you just did a bicep workout, and then your
All right, gentlemen.
mom calls you, and you can't answer it.
You can't even hold the phone.
You can't
Yeah,
hold the
yeah,
phone.
yeah.
That's what happens all the time in arm wrestling.
Yep.
So that your athlete, the corners are gonna have someone rub out your arm, try to get that blood out.
Yep, trying to get the
Sometimes
blood
people
flowing.
do what we call European
Yep,
squats.
European squats,
You
yeah.
know, because you want to get that blood to
Back
other
down to your
places
legs.
into your
Yep.
body.
Well, guys, this just got competitive.
Yeah, it's competitive.
Yeah,
and
for
now,
sure.
so now I think Christopher is favoring outside the straps, just like we thought,
And he's gonna try to hook him.
and he's gonna try to hook him.
Both you elbows
It's
back.
kind of crazy.
It's so
It's
crazy.
not where I thought the
Center right
matches
there.
were gonna go.
Me either.
Don't
But he
move.
still looks like he's having a good
Shoulder
time.
here.
He's grinning every
Shoulder
time he
here.
goes up there.
More shoulder.
He's
Don't
having a
move.
good time
Yeah,
for sure.
yeah.
Yeah.
Thumbs.
Yeah.
6 years off, come back, you travel
Don't move.
3.5.
Go!
Perfect.
Straps.
Perfect. Beautiful. He looks so hungry.
I mean, Chris looks hungry. Yeah.
Hungry.
Yeah.
He-
And it's hungry for competition.
I love it.
He's ready to be back.
I think this guy needs to.
Webbing the same. Yeah,
I think we can expect to see Chris on a lot of stages.
I do too.
I think we're gonna start seeing him all over the place.
Yeah. Chris looks happy to be here.
And especially, I think he just needs an excuse. I'm just gonna start inviting him with me places. I'm gonna be like,
Yeah.
hey man, I'm going to this event.
Yeah, you should go.
You should go. And he's gonna be like, can I bring my Juggernaut jacket?
Definitely.
And I'm like, absolutely.
Show up.
I'll bring a
Let's go.
suitcase.
Yeah, bring a suitcase. Show up, Chris. Yeah,
So-
Robert is in this fight.
So what they're doing right now, I think both guys.
All right, open your
Okay,
hands.
Robert looked like he was fighting a lot more for that. Look. Yeah, Robert's fighting for it right now.
You can see him.
Yeah.
So what he's doing is he's pulling underneath.
Elbows
He's
back.
trying
Yeah,
to
yeah.
turn that hand
Yeah.
under and tighten the strap down.
Yeah.
Open your hands.
And Chris looked like
Open
he
your
wasn't.
hands, open your
Chris
thumbs.
looked like he was
You
just
might
like,
be
Elbow back.
sleeping with it. Yeah.
yeah.
Elbow back.
I used to sleep too.
Elbow back. Right
I
there.
used to just let him put him on.
That's
Like,
Oh
okay.
no. Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah,
It's
it's fine.
fine.
I'm
You know,
strong, it's fine.
I'm flying. Yeah. Put it on however you want. It's
However
fine.
you want.
Yeah,
You even said it.
Yeah. And then all of a sudden you're like, oh no.
Yeah, this way.
Yeah.
You gotta be careful.
Come down, Robert.
So does Robert
right
go
there.
for a high hook?
Don't
Does he go
move.
outside again?
I think that
Shoulder.
Robert has a
Looks
good.
Don't
He
move.
has a good
Shoulder
lane.
here.
He's
Don't
taking
move.
the hand and he taxed it really
Close
hard.
your hand.
He's gonna go over the top.
Yeah, he's gonna go over the top.
Robert's
Don't
going over the top
move.
for sure.
Go!
Yep. Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
2-2.
2-2.
Chris, we're here for the long haul. Let's go.
Dogfight, baby.
You might have got a little better. Little bit.
You know what I'm seeing
This
right
ain't
now?
over yet, boys.
Saw a little bit of fatigue on Chris's face.
did too. Big
and,
time.
And now, like we said before.
Almost like maybe he's like, well, the left I'm going to get rid of. Let me just get.
Oh, I hope it's
win with
not
the
that.
right.
I hope it's not that. But maybe. But what we just talked about, when somebody starts winning, if you just got pinned, but you start coming back, how good does it feel? Robert is catching his second wind.
Big time.
He's like, oh, I feel kind of good.
And you know Robert prepared hard.
He did. He sent. Did you
sent
send me
me so many
videos?
videos.
He
Oh,
sent me so many videos, man. Every day. Yeah. But hey, I aspire. Awesome. Keep it up. Send me
we
these
tell people,
videos.
Robert Fowler's a rider. Like he rides for us.
Yes.
We invited him out. He's
Yes.
all about the
He
matches. He's
loves
excited.
being invited. And I think a lot of arm wrestlers need that. A lot of guys don't really know where to go or what to do, just kind of on their own accord. But you shoot them an invite. You say, hey, we're hosting this event. We're doing XYZ.
Yep. Get some guys excited.
Table, please.
People are like, well, yeah, can I bring my family? Absolutely. Can I bring my friends? Or they've never arm wrestled before? Bring them.
Absolutely.
We would love that.
Yes. Yeah, bringing in new people, that's what it's all about. Like, the family you build in this game is serious. And it's built on the table.
Yeah.
losing.
It's not just like in the after pull, but like there's a level of respect you get win or lose after you've pulled someone 2 or 3 times. You really start to develop
Yeah, I've got
a
homies
relationship.
in this game
Yeah,
from
yeah.
losing to them.
Yeah.
Over here. More. Me too.
Or if you have a war with somebody and you're
looks
like,
good, don't move.
regardless of how it ended, you go, you know what? This guy has my
your hand.
respect.
Yes.
Top. Carving in. One warning.
There we
One
go.
warning on this side.
So Chris had a
Ref
warning.
script.
Chris was carving in his hand a little bit. They're setting they're
Try it again. We got one
if you look
warning
at
on this
Robert,
side.
Robert is bowing his
Center.
hand out like
Perfect.
this.
Don't
He's
move.
putting his hand
Shoulder
out like
here.
this.
Yes.
A lot more shoulder.
What would you call this? Like prioritizing this ridge right here.
Yeah.
Shoulder looks good.
He's
don't move.
like pressing his
Yeah,
projection
yeah. He's like,
inside.
he said,
hand.
I don't care about
Put your
this.
hand. Don't
I'm gonna
move.
pull right through here,
Stop.
and I'm
You're
gonna
already
try to
moving.
slip and go
One
over the
warning.
top.
One warning.
And now
One
Robert
warning
has a
each
warning.
side.
So now they've both moved in the straps. Or sorry, they both moved in the ref's grip, which is
All right.
bases are getting
Start
loaded.
webbing.
It's what's
Yeah.
happening. They
Right
both have
here,
one
elbow
warning.
back.
One warning on either one of
Elbow
them will
back
put
more.
them at a foul, and
Yep.
then
Right there.
what
That's
happens
center.
then?
Don't
Yeah,
move.
I would hate to see a 2-2 come back like this get ended in a foul.
Right there. Don't move.
Here we go, boys.
Shoulder.
This one matters. How many
Shoulder
2-2
look
matches
good.
have we
Push
had
thumbs.
today?
More than I thought we were gonna have.
Me too. Me too.
move.
More than I thought.
Stop.
And
And the matches we thought were going to go one way
one foul,
went the other.
right?
Coincidental?
No,
All right.
coincidental.
No call.
Sorry, go ahead.
The matches we thought were going to go one way ended up going the other. Like, there was
Yeah,
a lot going on.
I had James as a bit of a favorite.
we got one warning on this side.
Same with Drew.
Same with Drew. I had Drew as a favorite. Lorenzo and Vogt
Moving
went
looks
the
good. Don't
distance.
move. Shoulder looks
Battle.
good. Don't
Battled.
move. Close your thumbs.
These guys are going the distance.
Cody and Zamora
Don't
going the
move.
distance.
Oh, the guy with
We
the
are still
strong
on the left hand, guys.
Bailed.
We are still on the left hand.
And they're going right-handed right after this.
Yes.
Yes, they're
I
staying
mean,
up there.
talk about pulling out your energies, boy.
boy.
You got to come in here ready to bang.
It's not just a strength sport.
You come to Flashspin, you show up ready to bang.
It's-
Like, you got to be an athlete.
Yeah, you have to be. If you're gonna pull left and right, back to back, 3 out of 5, you're potentially arm wrestling. What is that? 3. If you
10
win
matches.
3-2, that's 5. You got 10 matches.
Wicked.
That's not even including all the
Slips and-
slips,
yeah, everything.
setups. Oh, I elbow foul to restart.
Wicked.
Up there for 45 minutes. I can't do anything for 45 minutes without taking a break.
I can. Let's go. Let's go. Yeah, with the supers, it really tests them, right?
Oh yeah, but Robert's light right now.
There. Don't move.
Robert is lighter than he's been.
Shoulder here.
Robert used to walk around 315.
Shoulder.
I
Yeah,
think
he's-
I think he's
He's
300.
in great shape.
Yeah.
Close your hand. Don't move. Go. Stop. Carving in.
Yeah,
Second warning.
I saw it.
One foul.
One foul. Okay.
Yeah, I saw it. You saw it
One
even in his
warning, one
face
foul.
as he
Oh
was.
yeah. Well, he's trying to time it. He's
Yeah.
trying to time the go, and it's hard to do. It's don't.
Another
move.
part, another layer of the game
Yes.
is understanding timing, right?
The first thing I ask for any event I go to, what's the cadence?
Yeah.
Right there.
Because
Don't move.
if the
Shoulders
other
look
guy
good.
is
Don't
able to
move.
move his hands into a position before
They're
me,
blown up, guys. Look at their hands.
their
Look
hands
at the
are
hands.
full of blood.
Look at Chris's hand is full of blood. Nothing he can do. You can see his hands blown up.
He's full of blood. Yep, exhausted. Hopefully Robert doesn't get overexcited here, and he needs to get ready to go right-handed.
Shake it out, Chris. Shake it out, Chris.
They're gonna talk to Robert here in a second. And
Hey,
we're gonna
Robert,
move
real
on
quick,
to
I
the
gotta
right
ask you
hand.
while they change this out. How'd you feel about that left hand?
I felt like it was going to be shitty, but hey, it turned around, and I guess I showed them I'm not an amateur anymore, right?
Yeah, it looked that. Do you expect this to go for the right? Are you stronger right-handed?
Oh, by far.
By far.
Yeah.
The margin is great.
Yeah.
All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, let's go into the right.
All right, the table has been swapped over. They moved the pads. The pads are off-centered, everybody, so we have to move them in between every match. We've probably haven't. A lot of you may already know this, but for some of you who keep wondering, what are we doing every time they move the pads? The pads are set up so that each guy is kind of favored to their side, and the idea is like if you put your arms directly in front of each other, I think you're more at risk of injury.
Yes, that's exactly
Is that why they do it?
Yeah.
So they off-center them a little bit, and what it does is it gives each guy a little bit more play on their side.
So basically, you saw the ref give them a signal, and what he was asking them is if they want to cap their thumb, where they're going to close over their thumb, or if they're going to uncap, which means the thumb lies open, where you'll see the thumbnail when they close their hands. Oftentimes, guys that cap, you know instantly are going for a top roll, meaning attacking the other individual's fingers. Right?
Oh, okay.
Both gentlemen top rolled just now,
Yeah.
and it went straight to a
I saw
strap.
Roberts Fowler, his wrist dumped. I don't know if that was intentional for the slip, but I saw that Chris definitely slipped on top.
On purpose, way
on
high.
top.
Yeah.
And is that any indicator to what's going to happen here in the straps? Also, do you think these guys are, since they just arm wrestled left-handed, like how tired are they?
tired are they?
Yeah.
Talk about getting
can you
tested.
operate? Can you operate at like max proficiency on the other arm?
Yeah.
I feel like I can sometimes. I feel like
I mean, I do it in training a
I
lot.
catch a second wind on my other arm. I'm like, oh, I'm
good.
tired,
I'm
but my
good, though.
arm's okay.
Yeah.
It's your CNS.
Yeah.
It's like,
exactly
can
what it
you
is.
ignite yourself?
And when
Can
he
you-
says CNS, we're referring to your central nervous system, right? Your central nervous system, when you do anything, max payload especially, it's getting tested.
and you can only do it a couple of times, really.
Yep.
Like-
You can only reach max payload
Yeah.
so many times. And some people are more than others. And it depends on your conditioning.
And arm
depends on your
wrestling
training.
is
Max payload.
all the time.
Yep.
And it's hyper specific.
Max effort lifting. Now, Corey Miller thought this was going to be a rampage.
Yep. And Robert told me that move he just did was exactly what he was going to do.
Yep.
High hook, straight through the center.
Yep.
Back, like, it looked like he had dominant hand control and arm control.
He knew exactly where he wanted
right.
to go.
Yeah. That's good. Part of
Chris also wants to drop weight too. Like he
Really?
said, he's gonna come down a weight class after this, because he wants to get in better shape. I mean, he already looks like a stud.
Yeah, I mean, I can't imagine if he was at 242, he would look insane.
Insane. I mean, you think of his size against someone like Tucker.
He's
gotta
bigger.
fight.
I mean, he's not
He's
taller.
huge.
Is he taller than Tucker?
Well, he's thick.
He's thicker. Yeah, like in the neck.
Yeah.
And it's not like fat in the neck. It's like Eddie Hall in the neck.
Yeah. Exactly. Exactly. It's Eddie Hall's.
I actually
brother.
was telling some guys, I was like, because I only saw Chris at the Aries Super Series a while ago, where he had to cut a lot of weight. He showed up. He didn't do too well, and I didn't get to hang out and really talk to him. And when I saw him today, I didn't even recognize him. Someone said, "Hey, Chris, over here," and I thought, "That's Chris?"
Yeah, I mean, from the visuals I had just from watching video, I didn't know that was him either.
I was like, "Oh no, he's a juggernaut."
He's a juggernaut. Yeah,
he's
yeah.
really big.
Yeah.
He's much bigger than I thought he
Same
was.
with Robert though. Robert is a 300-pound
yes.
dude, and you look at him
Robert's-
and you don't know.
Yes, Robert's big. And both of these guys are big, and it's hard to tell because they're standing next to Marcus, who isn't big. He's massive.
Massive, 400
Like,
plus pounds.
Yeah, 400 plus pounds, 9 feet tall.
Yeah.
Both of these athletes, though, at the table right now are really, really big. I need to get Robert to start looking at the refs.
I love how Chris does that.
Yes.
Yeah, it's perfect.
So what I meant, guys, is that Chris isn't listening for the cadence. He's watching the cadence. When you watch the ref's mouth move, you can listen to what they're going to, or you see what they're going to say.
You get to hit at the
Yes, yes.
speed of sight rather than
The
sound.
yes, the speed of sound is not near as fast as the
Yeah.
speed of sight.
It is not instantaneous.
Right.
Yeah, Chris has a lot of very good fundamentals that you can see at play here. And Robert's been super active,
Oh yeah.
competing everywhere.
Yeah. Texas State, West Texas, super
Just
matches.
had a super match and then pulled a tournament.
Went to Colorado with me last year. He went to. I mean, he does almost anything in Texas within 400 miles,
Yeah,
and we
he's
have
all
to
over it.
specify that because we're not always making it to Houston.
Sure.
Because we're out in West Texas, and Texas is massive, but yeah, Robert is pretty active. Sounds like some
Yeah,
guys are
you
getting
hear
hyped in
people
the back.
getting fired up back there.
It's not there.
Yeah. Well, Robert's right hand, like you said,
Yeah,
it's even better.
Way and you know what's interesting? I kind of figured, and I can't be any real judge, but I've always felt like I can kind of slow Robert down on the right. Like I can make him try.
Yes.
The last month and a half. I can't slow him down.
Oh, he's serious
Not
now.
at all.
Big business.
Like he's like, yeah, he's like, come on. And I'm like, I do the thing where I fully statically loading it completely on
Yep.
my bicep. And he's this.
Plus the handbag.
And I'm like, oh, it's not even through the, like through the strongest part of me. Like through my wrist.
Yeah.
And he should as a super heavyweight, but he hasn't always before. And he is right now. And that's what you're seeing up there. You're seeing a version of Robert that is peaked. He's doing arm wrestling specifics. He hasn't been doing regular gym. He hasn't been doing regular traditional lifting as much, which
Yes.
is, you know, we all have our opinions on that, but he has been doing hyper-specific arm wrestling.
Well, and when you take time off of hyper-specific arm wrestling and then go back into it, your gains get crazy.
Yes.
Because you heal that soft tissue,
Yeah.
and then you put it back under duress.
Yes.
And your gains are crazy. When I say soft tissue, I'm talking about joints and tendons, right?
Yep.
Like tendons, ligaments, this is soft tissue, whereas muscle heals a whole lot faster. Tendons take time under tension.
Yeah, well, it's not just, they take a long time to heal. They take a long time to get strong. And it's hard
It's
to
a tricky
get,
game, right?
It
with the
is
healing.
so hard, yes.
Yeah, with the healing, it's very tricky.
I struggle with it all the time. I'm like, I'm sore, but am I too sore to train? Or if I do train, how hard do I train?
Yeah. If you're Chris, you have to just fire inside and say, fuck it.
Yeah.
He has to just go.
Yeah. Well, how he did on the left, he had that match where he compromised Robert's arm. I don't know if it's possible on the right, but
Yeah, he's
at
got to
this point,
commit. I mean,
he needs to do something.
Don't move. Don't move. Go.
Uh-oh. Robert's trying to hold on just to prove a point.
Elbow upside here. 1-5.
Oh, wow.
interesting.
Yeah, but Robert was just trying to prove a point.
Yeah, he was.
He was. He goes, I'm up 2-0. I can take some risks. You want to bail from me? You have a strong hands.
I was looking around trying to figure out what they were getting. It was a tissue for the sweat that Chris has developed.
Oh, yeah. I mean, the man's drenched.
Yeah.
Like,
Shoulder in. More.
He came for a war.
Move.
he did. Here he goes. Okay. It's,
Don't move. Go. Stop. Ooh.
There it is.
Winner.
There it is.
so what was happening right there? Chris was bailing.
Go ahead. Starting on left, right, left, right.
Okay. I just need to make sure.
All right, Robert. So, come over here. So that went exactly how you wanted it to go. Tell me a little bit about that match.
Dude, that meant a lot for me. I grew up watching him. I started amateurs, you know, I don't know, probably 13, 14 years ago, and he was already one of the top dogs out there pulling UAL and placing everywhere as a national guy. So kind of was a lot for me to take that and kind of pass the torch on. Yeah.
Well, my friend, the torch is passed for now. Who do you want to go against next? We need a call out. It's time. That's 2 wins for you on Flashpin. Who do you want?
Oh, man. Oh. I want this guy, Nick, where he went in my corner. But I don't know if his right. I don't know if his right's good enough, though.
We'll see by January.
You want? Okay. We'll go right with this guy.
Nick says we'll see. Yeah, I like that match. I like that match quite a bit, especially because Nick's right just held up, and he went through some boys in Mississippi.
Yes, sir. He sure did. So that'd be a good one. And then left-handed. I'm thinking about Mac or probably right in that range.
Yeah, I like the idea of that one as well. Mac's a soldier, and you know he wants to come back. All right, my friend. Thank you so much for your time.